Hey homies, it's Zach, Ohio Skater. I'm going to do a cool video today. So I was on Discord and someone told me about this ideological tier list that you can create, basically ranking ideologies of how you see them, your personal view of all the different ideologies, and you can create a list. And so the first one, it had like all sorts of categories like your ideologies. It always has your ideologies, but then it's like, well, not, I mean, I made it that way, your ideologies, and then it has like really good, good, not okay, really good, good, okay, mid. I don't know, there was like 10 categories, something like that I don't know, but I narrowed it down to your ideologies and then good, meh, and bad. So yeah, and I dragged and dropped different ideologies according to whether I believed in them or whether I thought they were good, neutral, or bad. So I didn't do all the ideologies they had listed there. That would have taken forever, and some of it is like irrelevant because some of these ideologies like are basically another form of. Some of them are just like a smaller form of what I already have listed here, you know. So or a random different form that it wouldn't make sense to have to rank them all, but so I'm just going to go down the list. And so first of all, my ideologies are anarchism, mutualism, anarcho-syndicalism, anarcho-distributism, eco-anarchism, geo-mutualism, left Rothbardianism, anarcho-individualism, participatory economics, market anarchism, green market socialism, and social libertarian market socialism. Those are all the ones that I picked to represent as mine, you know. And to sort of put this all together, I want to sort of like anarchist market socialist, but also with economic democracy type of society where it's a market between different cooperatives and syndicates, and you can have communes, and it's sort of a free market between cooperatives, but all those cooperatives are obviously run democratically, and so it's like competing different types of democracy, different individual entities that are all democracies themselves, but they're competing with each other, and it's like competitive democracy or something like that is sort of how I envision it. But definitely there needs to be some common agreements surrounding the environment, and how we take care of the environment so that needs to be thought of maybe through bioregionalism with different communes representing different natural structures like rivers, lakes, or mountains, valleys, you know. You can have bioregionalism like that, where the communes are kind of shaped around that sort of those sort of borders. Sorry, but yeah, and because I believe in degrowth, and so definitely, I think we need markets. I think you can't get rid of markets. I think markets are inherent in any society. Even if you try to get rid of markets, there'll just be some sort of underground black market. You're never going to stop people buying and selling things to each other, trading, exchanging goods, you know. But you can make it democratic. You can make these businesses workplace democracies, or consumer democracies, and they can be owned socially, and you can have exchanges between different things which are owned socially. But there's also anarcho-individualism, so which could mean like we allow self-employment, and then there's anarcho-distributism, which is where like we don't abolish private property, but private property is freely available to anyone, you know. So so different parts of the economy can be like that as well, which is why I have anarcho-distributism and anarcho-individualism up there. And left Rothbardianism is like anarcho-capitalism, but it's like a strategy to create anarchism by like turning the government into a system of cooperatives, homesteading the government, the government workers homesteading the government and turning the government into their social property, but with the rest of the economy being capitalist. and then just I guess they would coexist from there. But that is sort of a strategy I still agree with, but could but then if you imagine these cooperatives doing really well, which I think they would do well, then I think you can imagine more dramatic changes. But still, I include that because I have some ANCAP friends. I have some ANCAP friends and I have some anarcho-socialist friends, and I can't work with every ANCAP and I can't work with every anarcho-communist. I pick and choose individuals between those two different groups that I think that because I think as a mutualist I'm so like not in the middle, but so understanding of markets, but also understanding of social ownership, and so yeah, it's more like I'll align with people if they don't want to infringe on my personal space or my rights or my natural rights. I agree with the NAP for sure. So that's pretty just the golden rule. So anyway, now on to good. You have democratic confederalism, guild socialism, geo-anarchism, social libertarianism, bull moose progressivism, Sandersism, feminism, and piratism. So yeah, these are all ones that I think are good, but I wouldn't say that that's really what I am, but they're the ones I think are good, So democratic confederalism, that's like the Kurds in Rojava in like Syria in on the border with Turkey, over in the Middle East, the Kurdish community, libertarian. It's not. I don't know if they'd really describe it as libertarian socialist or anarchist, but anarchists and libertarian socialists definitely take inspiration from it, and it is I would say progressive, So, but and then there's guild socialism, which goes along with the anarcho-distributism that I have as my ideology, but then so because of that, as a good one, I have guild socialism, because I think that's an actual good model of a democratic socialist system, just like democratic confederalism can be. So is guild socialism. These are good models. I didn't just put democratic socialism. I picked actual things that I think are good models of democratic socialism. Because I would say democratic socialism is good. You see, I also have Sandersism, Bernie Sanders. And like along with that, I chose the things that I support within the American political system, but the American political system as it currently is not always like the end all be all to me. So that's why I don't have them in my ideologies, but these are the things that I support within our American democracy, things that have happened in American democracy and things that are based on American democracy. So you have social libertarianism, which is Andrew Yang and the Yang Gang. And you have bull moose progressivism, which is the classic president. Teddy Roosevelt. He was the OG, And then Sandersism, which I think goes along with the bull moose progressivism. I think Sandersism was similar to like a modern day bull moose progressivism. I think, except Teddy Roosevelt was obviously a Republican and Sanders is a Democrat, but the parties have changed a lot. And you could say that Sandersism follows the model created by bull moose progressivism, because I think Bernie Sanders, he was a democratic socialist, but he was trying to adapt it to American way of thinking, American values and stuff like that, and he got examples of these presidents who had these progressive reform agendas, So I think all those are good, and social libertarianism has taken off from what it was originally, which was the Yang Gang, but people have sort of found other things that relate to social libertarianism, like free market distributism, stuff like that, and sometimes they call it libertarian social democracy because they believe in like positive rights and not just negative rights, and that's all really good stuff, but it originated from Andrew Yang and the Yang Gang, so, but I like that one. And then there's feminism. I would say that I'm a feminist. I should have put it in my ideologies, but I wanted to just put things related to like anarchism in my ideologies, or like market socialism, because that's really what I know about, but feminism is good, and I didn't just put like anarcho-feminism or radical feminism or any specific type of feminism. I just put feminism because I think all feminists are good, So, um, yeah, that's just regardless. I just think that's something anyone should generally believe in, So, yeah, another one was geo-anarchism, which is similar to the geo-mutualism that I put up in my ideologies. But geo-anarchism is just like Georgism mixed with anarchism, and it's about sort of agreements made collectively to manage property in an anarchist system, like community land trusts and stuff like that, and ways to enforce some sort of Georgist effect on an anarchist system through things like that. And yeah, so that's good. I put geomutualism as one of my ideologies because I think it should be done through a system of cooperatives. Yeah, that's just my opinion. And then, so yeah, the last one on good is piratism, pirating movies and stuff like that. I believe in the free flow of information. I believe however you can get your hands on something is how you should get it. And I think, these people that create these shows, movies, music, whatever, what have you, they may often be multimillionaires, and so it's not really a big deal if you're struggling, if you don't have a lot of money to download something for free. I mean, I don't care. I buy all the stuff that I have because I like physical copies of stuff, but I've pirated in the past. I sort of did a little pirating to create a digital version of my physical music collection. It was like a gray market type thing. I don't know. It was like a legit business, but it allowed you to like download songs off Spotify and stuff like that. But which is probably like a legal gray area. But yeah, I used to pirate movies and all sorts of stuff. Go on those sketchy ass websites or just use Pirate Bay torrents. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's inspired my thinking a lot when it comes to like freedom of information and how we should manage information in an anarchist system. So I'm going to put that in good. Yeah. So, and then for meh, the first two, which are Titoism and Dangism, which are like Marxist forms of market socialism. Because obviously you see I got definitely market socialist vibes up in the other categories. So, but these are more Marxist forms of market socialism, which are more authoritarian. But still, I think they worked better than any other form of socialism. And all in all, I think it wouldn't be so different than how neoliberal society is. I've never lived in one of these societies, but in China, the way it is today, it's they live a similar lifestyle to us. And like Yugoslavia had freedom of movement between the East and the West Bloc. They were able to go to both the East and the West Bloc. A lot of workers worked in the West and some worked in the East. They were migrant workers from Yugoslavia, so they had exposure to all the cultures of the world. That was probably the one country that had equal exposure to all the cultures of the world, and they did have real workplace democracy. It's the only form of Dangism and Titoism. I don't know about if this is specifically Dangism, but how China is today, the research I've done, Titoism and the socialist market economy, whatever you want to call it, in China, these are the only forms of Marxism where you see genuine economic democracy, where you see genuine workplace democracy ever actually happening, and it's ironic that there are forms of market socialism, but I see that's one of the reasons I'm a market socialism, and I said I believe in participatory democracy, because I think market socialism is often has more actual workplace democracy than more planned economy forms of socialism, centrally planned, which are more directed from the top down throughout everything else. And then I put anarcho-capitalism as meh. Like I said, I have some ANCAP friends. I chat with ANCAPs a lot on Discord, but yeah, I'm just being honest here. I can't really say that I'm an ANCAP. I've been open with them all about how I'm like left libertarian and stuff like that. and so I think they understand. I even posted this in there, and some people were giving mixed reactions about it, but it was cool, you know. And but anarcho-capitalism, the one thing I can't get in line with is they just don't like democracy, you know, and I'm a socialist mainly because of ideas about democracy, workplace democracy, consumer democracy, community democracy, participatory democracy, you know. And so I can't give up on democracy. I can't give up on democracy, but I don't think the world would end. You know, you could say I also put classical liberalism, neoliberalism, and conservatism in there. And those last three are how things are like right now, or how things have been really in the actual world in the last couple hundred years. So those are actually like make sense to the status quo of the system, like the current way things are. And I think the way things are meh. And I think anarcho-capitalism wouldn't actually be a huge break from the way things are. I think things would still be meh. And I think if you're going to have a Marxist economy, but you make it market socialist, I also think things would be meh, you know, neutral. In other words, neutral. So I'm just being honest about this. I don't think any of these are like are going to cause massive social problems. It's just going to be in a less advanced form of economy, I think, you know. But the next ones are the ones that I put that mostly I really think cause massive social problems, and ones that I think could become have been and could even be, if they happened again, genocidal and or mass murderous, you know, and we just don't want them happening or being promoted. So that's Nazism, fascism, ethnic nationalism, anti-environmentalism, Stalinism, alt-right, patriarchy, homophobia, and transphobia. And these are things I just think that people may have memes and they may LARP, but these are things at the end of the day I think are common sense that anyone should oppose, you know. It's just common sense that this is what's making the world fucked up, and it's common sense that we don't want these things to happen. But there's a lot of propaganda out there, and you always got to fight against that. But yeah, I don't even want to talk about these ones too much, but they're just the ones that are no bueno, definitely not. So anyway, yeah, that's my tier list. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I made this pretty quickly, but it is an accurate reflection of me. You know, I am very libertarian socialist, is what I would say. I know all that stuff, you know, under my ideologies is different. It's not all specifically libertarian socialist, but I take it all together to be sort of a form of libertarian socialism. It's just an easy way to, left libertarianism is a better word. Left-wing libertarianism is a better word. But sort of libertarian socialist, left-wing libertarianism. But as you can see, I'm not really like super, I wouldn't really call myself a communist or a Marxist. And in the good column, I had good forms of democratic socialism, which are not entirely maybe libertarian, or people would conceive of them as libertarian, but good forms of democratic socialism. Democratic confederalism would maybe be seen as libertarian, but I'm cautious to label it because they have their own idea of what that is over there, the Kurds, you know. But you can see that I put good forms of democratic socialism, one good form of anarchism that is a different form of anarchism, and a few things from the American political system, which I support as far as the American political system goes, and feminism and piratism. And then, of course, you had my meh, which were the Marxist forms of market socialism, anarcho-capitalism, classical liberalism, neoliberalism, conservatism. Those are things that I don't think would be the end of the world. But I'm not going to say that I think they're good or I support them. But yeah. In some cases they're good, in some cases they're bad. They have their pros and cons. That's why they're meh, you know. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, everything. Gonna try to make more videos here soon, but I just got a job, and that's been taking up a lot of my time. but it's a good job. I think I can stick with it. I think it's something that I'm lucky to have gotten, and I think I've been good at it so far. I can tell that I've been good at it so far, like actual performing well, and I think it's a good opportunity, and I think it's a way for me to save up money to be able to move out west, like I'm always talking about, you know. So hopefully I can save up some money to do that. But I don't get paid a lot, but it's an improvement. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video again, and have a good day. Peace.